A serious one. I'm gonna talk to my place. Belfield. We know how the place blood clot run. I'm gonna give people on the net a refresher who don't understand the place. You remember the leader Stone Crusher up in the place and Kingfish come for him. And the dog just pop it off and pint it and squeeze and take away the shop and gone. Remember say enough bad man come for our place, you know. Not if and but our blood clot maybe, you know. We know the place run. So I talk to the youths right now. You see him? If him up there, now make police come find him up there. Push him out. Quick and fast. Don't make police come find him up there. Push him out. Quick and fast. They must see him take out the officer. They must feel them intelligence what them have. So, who do not want them have in the place that as place where have a criminal and wanted man we kill police. We do not want that on the place. We don't want that name the pan for we ground. We don't want that pan the ground. So here's youth. Anywhere him there. Push him out. Cause we all know. Them can't, if them come up him, they can't catch him. Because they have to black, they have to come from Moko. They have to come from Christiana. They have to come from Long Hill way. They have to come from run a porous side. They have to come from Williamsfield. And if they don't lock off the community, the whole entire place, and take 2-3 weeks, them can't go find the youth there. We know how he's run already. So I talk to the youths up there. If you don't see him and his sister, push them out. We don't want the blood clot place for the stigma that the name there. I would not want police live at the powder. I say I pay money man in that place now. I pay money people in that place. Everybody had the good. So youths, do the right. For up them there, push him out.
Welcome to True Jamaica Buzz, news and entertainment with Buzz. The video that you just saw is of a man that is from the era in which it is alleged that the shooter of the corporal that lost his life in a Old Harbour a couple of days ago. His name is Jesus Bala, and the next one is accomplice is said to be named as Juicy. So this man is warning people, listen, you do not want that stigma. You do not want the police to come up there, because if they hear, this is where those two individuals, especially Jesus Bala, is hiding. The police is going to come up there and it is going to be living hell, literally. Now, people, you and I know the police reputation. Once you take away a police in a brutal way in which the corporal lost his life. Retribution, reprisal, they are going to spare no expense. All boats are going to be on ground. They are going to be looking for you and they are going to want to send you underground. This is going to be a warrant of death. So this man, Mr. Bala, pretty much he is a dead man walking. Such is the case as it pertains to his friend or accomplice, Juicy. And what makes this situation even worse, it is said that these two men are part of the one other gang. This is a reprisal, meaning the corporal or constable that lost his life. Corporal is a reprisal for THICKMAN losing his life. Now, people, I don't have any sorts of evidence to substantiate those claims. However, if the police even feel or have a slight inclination that that is the reason, not to say they need any other reason than their police officer losing his life, it is going to be hell and powder house wherever they find these people or that person. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is based on a buzzing topic that has been all over social media last week or so, wherein a man, Robert Bell, 60-something-year-old businessman from St. Andrew, was seen in a viral video, pretty much clotting a lady, slamming her down on the ground, stepping her head, while all this time pulling his tool on this lady. Now remember, man have man's strength, woman's strength, not very equal. So therefore, I don't know what this person thought, or was he drunk, was he under the influence, or was he just under the hype of some uptown syndrome that feels as if he can do anything and get away with it because he has influences in high places. So people, we saw that video, we heard about the incident. There's a next victim, a lady that came out and she made a speech. I want you to take a look at exactly what she has to say as she shares her experience of what she saw that day in which that man tried the same thing with her. Fortunately for her, she was not stepped on, she was not slammed on the ground. Take a look, and then I'll give my piece.
tried to go right, he swerved right. I tried to go left, he swerved left. That went on for about 3 different attempts to go around him. Eventually, I went around him on the other side of the road to get away from him. I drove, and when I got to Stella Maris, I realized it was still behind me. I called 119 at the time. 119 was on the phone with me, and I got into Grant's Pen where we had a red light. The man came out of his vehicle with a gun in his hand and a hot coffee cup. And he used that hot coffee mug and beat down my window. The man beat that window down. The police was still on the phone, on the Bluetooth, so he could hear what was going on. The recount I'm giving you sounds eerily similar. The light went green, and I went onto Upper Waterloo where there was a patrol car on the side of the road, and I pulled in behind the patrol car, and he sped around. The policeman on the phone said to me, drive him down and get his license plate. Well, at that point, sir, I was so traumatized. I said, no, sir, because I value my life more than his license number. And I called Crime Stop myself a few days later, and I had nothing to give, okay? But the person said to me, they will return to that same area. They will return to that same area. And, sir, it is so similar. It is so similar. A white, one of those, and the Benz is souped up. You know, when Jamaicans said a car soup up, it was a muffler that made a lot of noise as he was swinging from lane to lane to lane, and he had a gun in his left hand and his hot coffee mug in his right hand.
So people, we saw the viral video with that nurse getting the Rodney King style. And then you hear again a eerie, similar case. Only fortunately for this lady, she did not get that man's wrath. Now, if you notice the first incident, the viral video, this happened while the nurse was on her way to work. Now, people, can you imagine? Yes, we understand that the traffic in the morning in Jamaica kind of hectic. However, it is no justification, no defense. So this man, early in the morning, that angry. What could have ticked off that man that angry in the morning, other than to say that this is in his natural instinct, this is everything explaining the type of character that he is. He is hype, he has adrenaline rush, he have money, he have a big ego problem, and he feels as if he is entitled. He feels as if he is above the law. That is a syndrome that a lot of these uptown people or people with money have in Jamaica, where they see other cases in which other people take up people, beat up people, clot up people. And then when you hear in this voice note, this lady explaining, this man is 60-something, and I act like him a young boy, act like him hype. Whenever you are 60-something and have a top car and you have that loud muffler acting as if you are a chopper, it tells you that mentally you are slow. It tells you that you have a big ego problem. Well, people, this big ego problem, based on what top lawyer Peter Champagne says, this man is looking at a minimum mandatory 15 years in a jail if all goes well for him. However, we know when it comes to Jamaica, the delayed tactics, the body club always comes into full effect. And no doubt, you have seen the pictures with him, with Andrew Holness and top people in Jamaica. So we know that strings are going to be pulled. Not to say that your prime minister will pull string, but me just say, in Jamaica, money talk and BS walks. So don't be surprised, even when a slam dunk case, literally, the system fumble the ball and this man walks scot-free. You and I know that this case is going to be delay. Delay is going to be the order of the day. So we just say, keep our fingers crossed, hope for the best and expect the worst. Point blank and period.
In November last year, just before the drill was purchased by Sarah for the Bustamante Hospital for Children for $31,500,000. 2 drills of the same type, EM200, same manufacturer, same specifications, same model numbers, were brought in by one company, the company that won the bid to supply that $31 million drill. We see that it was not a new drill. They were refurbished drills with a purchase price of $1,600 US. That was the declared value, and they paid $90,000 in customs fees, bringing the grand total, landed the same drill, model number, specifications, landed in Jamaica, cost nowhere close to $31 million, but 250,000 Jamaican dollars. Is the $31 million drill at the Bustamante Hospital for Children one of these drills that were imported in November last year? Yes or no? If it is a case where the drill that was purchased from the same company just after these two drills were imported is a different drill, what was the justification for paying $31 million for a drill that could have been bought and landed in Jamaica for less than 300,000 Jamaican dollars? We're asking for a fulsome investigation into the procurement process of this neurosurgical drill.
This one is called This Is Why You Can Never Trust a Preacher. You cannot never trust a police, and worse, you can never trust a politician. Just generally speaking, you have good, but most of them are bad. I am going to give you a perfect example. In late 2024, about November or so, the hospital, Bustamante Hospital for Children, they needed a neurosurgical drill because the one that they had was malfunctioning, was kind of dated. So they went through the procurement process, see who they could be the source for delivering this drill. The person that won the bid was a company known as Meditech. However, that company is owned by a politician, Donovan Williams to be specific. So the process went through procurement, and that person got the contract, and they bought the drill and they delivered the drill, COD, or money upfront, for a whopping $31.5 million. However, here's the thing. Two of those same drill with the same specification were sourced a couple of months before. That price was about 250,000 Jamaican dollars. So people see the big difference. 31.5 million Jamaican versus 250,000 Jamaican. That is about 90 to 100 times the price of the ones before versus the new one on this bid. So then the opposition ministry, I felt them come out and them I said, no man, something wrong with this, some sorts of hustling are going, some sorts of incompetence, some sorts of robbery, highway to be specific, is going on. And then we saw that Alfred Dawes, he got the files and he compare and contrast the two drills that were bought before, the specification, the source. They went on social media, maybe eBay or Amazon, and they saw that that drill was going for a whopping $1,600 US, plus the customs fee brought it to about 250,000. So they want to know, like that JPS commercial, how comes you did a bidding process and the person that got the bid or got the contract was somebody that was offering you something that cost 250,000 Jamaican for 31.5 million Jamaican. What is the logical conclusion in making such a decision? Now, people, remember I told you that the company that won the bid is called Meditech. Meditech, coincidentally, is owned by a politician, Donovan Williams. So therefore, SARA, which is the Southeast Regional Health Authority, however them name, contracted this person, this company, Meditech, to get the surgical drill at a whopping $31.5 million. When Mr. Donovan Williams, who happens to be the top shareholder, not top in about 51% versus 49% for other shareholders. This is a breakdown of the shares in that company, Meditech. Mr. Williams owns 40,000 of the 50,000 shares That is a whopping 80%. The other two company executive owns the other 20% or 10%, 20%, sorry. So Mr. Williams own 80%, two other people own 20%. However, he claims that he is not in it for the profit. He is not a shareholder. He is just a trustee and a lawyer. And he will be making a swift move to make sure that his name gets off that documentation at the company's office. People, at the end of the day, whichever way you spin it, upside down, sideways, this is what we call highway robbery. This is what we call typical politicians' conflict of interest, in which the bidding process goes to a politician, to a company that is owned. Major shareholder in the company is a politician. And the procurement process that should have went or gone to the lowest bidder went to the highest bidder, who happens to be a politician, for a whopping 90 to 100 times of what the item actually costs. All of this is for the Bustamante Hospital for children for surgery. And these people are still robbing the hospital, robbing the children. So based on what Mr. Alfred Dawes said, he is going to be sending the files, sending the documentation, compare and contrast to the Auditor General and also Integrity Commission to see what their finding is going to be. More than likely, these persons involved won't get fined, won't ever see a day in a court. Point blank and period. So the next thing that is popping in the news is based on this picture on the screen right here. Based on the information, it is said that this man, said to be Jamaican, was trying to avoid being stopped, being captured, being arrested by the Florida Highway Patrol. So him press pedal to the metal on him bike and him try to elude the police. However, it seems as if the driving skills of the police and those hypnotic lights that are on top of the vehicle, in the grill, it seems as if it get him confused, it get him kind of jiggy. And he lost control and him flip on the bike and he ended up losing his life. Now, based on the information, it is said that he never have no paper. Cannot validate or verify that that is the motive or the reason why he tried to run. Now, people, these youths, them not understand, say, Jamaica and foreign, two different kettle of fish. Jamaica police, highway patrol, state trooper, those vehicles that you see them have can actually run in a NASCAR. Those vehicles, them well soap up more than most vehicles. So even if you have one top vehicle, you're not going to avoid them. And even if you're leading that chase or the race, you cannot outrun the radar that them have in them vehicle. Everything is synchronized. So therefore, they are always going to call for backup. And whenever them call for backup, people are going to get jack up. People are going to get FUCK. Such is the case as it pertains to this youth. He learned the hard way. Now people will understand, say, listen, maybe if you're not on a paperwork or maybe if you have a warrant, you're going to do everything for try to escape. But you have to ask yourself the question when you weigh the pros and the cons. Is it a good thing to be escape-wise and dead foolish? Just to avoid going back to Jamaica, just to avoid ending up in the penitentiary. I think that if this man could have re-stepped his decision, he would have probably made the polar opposite decision. But like them say, too late is the call, point blank and period. So anyways, people, thanks once again for checking out my video. If you appreciate videos like these, please show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing to my channel. That is how YouTube promotes videos like these to like-minded, sensible persons like yourself. Bless up.